Have you ever gone to a store and the one thing you need is just gone, even when there wasn't some big sale or holiday rush? Well, it's probably not just bad luck. There's this hidden force that's constantly throwing our global supply chains into chaos. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the biggest culprits, something called the bullwhip effect. This quote right here just nails it. Think about it for a second. A tiny, almost unnoticeable change in what you and I buy at the store, the flick of the wrist, can trigger this massive, wild overreaction at the factory level. It's a huge, distorted chain reaction, and yeah, it costs businesses a ton of money. And this is what it looks like in practice. It all starts small, right at the customer level. A little uptick in demand. But look what happens as you move up the chain. The retailer sees that small uptick and orders a little bit more, just to be safe. Then the wholesaler sees that slightly bigger order and bumps it up even more. By the time it reaches the factory, that tiny little customer signal has become a roaring demand for a massive order. That amplification, that's the bullwhip cracking. Now, to really get this, we've got to go back to its origins and look at a classic, real-world story that shows just how crazy this can get. So let's dig into the tale of the bullwhip. So here's the textbook definition, but stick with me. The idea first popped up way back in 1961 in J. Forrester's work, which is why you'll sometimes hear it called the Forrester effect. The core idea is super simple. The further you get from the actual customer, the more distorted and unreliable your picture of demand becomes. Okay, so check this out. Here's how it plays out in the real world. Take the famous Volvo story. The sales team had way too many green cars on the lot, so they ran this awesome promotion to get rid of them. And it worked. Sales shot up. But the manufacturing team, they only saw the sales numbers. They had no idea about the promotion. They just thought, whoa, green cars are suddenly the hottest thing ever. So they cranked up production, creating a brand new, massive surplus of green cars. A simple communication breakdown, and bam, the whip cracks, costing them millions. Okay, so if it's not just random bad luck, what's really going on here? Well, the causes are pretty complex, but they basically fall into two main buckets that kind of feed off each other. Let's break them down. On one side, you have behavioral causes. That's all about us, humans, and how we react under pressure. And on the other side, you've got operational causes. These are the flaws and quirks that are literally built into the systems of how supply chains work. They're two sides of the same chaotic coin. Let's talk about the human side first. This is all about psychology. Imagine you're a store owner and you can't get enough of some hot new product. What are you going to do next time you order? You panic. You order way more than you actually need, just in case. We're also just not great at guessing how long things take to arrive. And we often assume everyone else is going to panic, so we try to get ahead of them, which of course just makes the whole problem worse. Then you have the system itself, which has its own issues. You know how companies wait to ship things all at once to save a few bucks on transit? That's called order batching, and it creates these totally artificial lumps in demand. Big sales and discounts do the same thing, huge spikes followed by nothing. And when things get scarce, companies start rationing, which leads buyers to game the system by ordering like 5 times what they need, just hoping to get what they actually want. So all of this leads to a really big question. If our crummy ability to predict what people want is a huge driver of all this chaos, then the best way to fight it would be to get way, way better at predicting the future, right? We basically need a crystal ball. So how do we build one? And this is where things get really, really cool. Because the answer, more and more, is artificial intelligence. Specifically, this new generation of super powerful AI called foundation models. They're being trained to be that forecasting oracle for the entire supply chain. Now, the real breakthrough here isn't just building one single giant AI. Turns out, a team of AIs works way better. It's called an ensemble strategy. For example, you can create specialist AIs for each part of the business. One might be an expert on forecasting sales for a single store, while another is an expert on an entire product line across the country. By combining their insights, they cover each other's weaknesses and create a much, much more accurate picture of the future. And look, the proof is right here in the data. This chart shows the forecast error for different AI models. The higher the bar, the worse the forecast. That's the bullwhip cracking. Now, for each pair of bars, the one on the right is the model using that team-based hierarchical ensemble, the HIE version. Notice a pattern? Every single time adding the HIE strategy makes the error rate go down. The team of specialists is just consistently better. But what if you could do even more than just predict demand? What if you could build a perfect virtual copy of your entire supply chain and run crash tests without breaking anything in the real world? Well, that's the whole idea behind the second revolutionary solution, the digital twin. So a digital twin is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a live, breathing, virtual model of your entire network of factories, warehouses, ships, and trucks. It pulls in data in real time, so company can see everything, everywhere, all at once. But more importantly, it lets them simulate the future. It's like a flight simulator for your entire supply chain. And the results, they are absolutely staggering. Companies using this tech see on average a 30% drop in supply chain disruptions. That's almost a third of their biggest headaches just gone. All because they can spot the problem in the simulation and fix it before it ever spirals out of control. On top of that, they're reporting a 25% cut in operational costs. By running tons of simulations, they can find the absolute most efficient routes and warehouse setups, cutting a quarter of the waste right out of the system. And this one might be the most important of all. Their early warning systems can predict potential problems with up to 85% accuracy. Think about that. They're not just reacting faster anymore. They're actually getting into the realm of being truly predictive. I mean, just look at this comparison. It's a night and day difference. End-to-end visibility, actually knowing where everything is, jumps from a dismal 15% to 78%. Risk reduction more than doubles. And decision accuracy, it skyrockets. This isn't just a small improvement, it's a complete transformation. So what does this all add up to? Well, we are witnessing a fundamental shift in how supply chains are run. We're moving from a state of constant firefighting and chaos to one of predictive control and real resilience. This right here is the ultimate takeaway. The Bullwhip thrived in a world that was reactive, volatile, and where nobody really knew what was going on. But with tools like AI forecasting and digital twins, we're building supply chains that are the total opposite: predictive, stable, and transparent. We are finally taming the whip. And this leaves us with one last fascinating thought to chew on. We're getting incredibly good at predicting and neutralizing the kinds of disruptions we already know about. But as these AI-powered systems get even smarter, what currently unimaginable crises will they solve for us before we even know it exists?